Welcome to the Center for Student Learning Study Skills Workshop, Take Better Tests. My name is Melissa Hortman and I am the Study Skills Coordinator in the Center for Student Learning, and I will be speaking today for this presentation. In this presentation, I will speak about setting up a study environment to put you in an academic mindset, how to study for different test formats, and overcoming test anxiety. After this presentation, you will be able to take better tests with all of these tips we will discuss. First, we need to think about where are you studying. Have you found any places on or off campus that you really like to be at while studying? There are three main points to think about while trying to set up your study environment. When are you sitting down to study? Where are you studying? And how are you studying? Do you know your best time of the day to study? Some people are morning studiers while others prefer afternoon and evening. Don't mistake being a night studier for being a procrastinator and letting your work drift into the nighttime because you just didn't want to do it during the day. This can lead to marathon study sessions that go for longer than 4 hours, which is not good for you or your brain. Try using shorter study periods scattered throughout your day to be more effective with using wait time. Make it a habit to use those shorter times every day by scheduling in study time on your calendar. Now that you have a time to study, next you need to find a place to study. Find a place that has minimal distractions. So your room may not be the best place to study. Although it may be quiet, there are other distractions besides sounds like your bed, chores, food, or the TV. If you can be away from these things that you may use to procrastinate, you won't be distracted so easily from what you are studying. When you find a good place, make it your regular study place, which can be different for each course. You may want to study outside in the cistern for your philosophy class, but need to be in a cubicle on the second floor of the library to work on math. However, some places can be too comfortable, so move to a new location or seat when productivity falls off. This is a great way to work in a break from studying and change locations and views to something that might suit what you are studying more. If productivity falls off, be sure to pay attention to your attention as you study. This is a good way to see how long you can concentrate hard for and make sure you are staying on task. You can keep your attention and material for longer if you are actively studying. This involves you in the material you are learning so you can have a deeper understanding of it. There are a lot of ways to actively study, like reviewing as you go, which helps you to check your understanding as you are studying it. Setting up the studying environment can be one of the most important pieces to being successful in your studying habits. Focus and concentration are important to have when sitting down to study, but you are not always interested or in the right state of mind to be studying certain topics when you want or need to be studying them. Let's think about the following questions and how to solve these issues to stay focused and concentrated as you are studying. What can you do if you aren't interested in the subject? This could happen often since there is such a broad base of courses and information within the courses that you may not always be invested or interested in the subject you are learning. In this case, you could watch relevant videos on YouTube or TED Talks that brings the information to life and makes it more relatable to you. This can also help you remember information as well. What can you do if you don't know much about the subject? If you are in a biology class and don't know anything about stem cells, Google the subject and find readings that would give you a good base of knowledge to understand what you are studying. There is an infinite amount of information at your fingertips, so use it to help you focus on your topic and learn better. What can you do if you tend to daydream while studying? This can happen as the day goes on and your attention span becomes shorter. So shorten your study sessions to be sure to keep yourself on track and focused while studying. Also, writing things down that you are thinking about while daydreaming can help get those things out of your head so you can concentrate on the task at hand. What can you do if you get distracted easily? This is something that happens more than we would like it to because there are so many things everywhere we go that can distract us. Find a study hideaway where there are minimal distractions, but if technology is a distraction, use those things as a reward during breaks for when you are studying. For the last two questions, why don't you take a minute to think of some of your own answers for falling asleep while studying and thinking about other things while studying? Watch this video to learn more from other students about boosting your memory and retention as you study for less time.
How did you really memorize and learn your notes?
I would look at my notes, I'd read a page kind of a thing, and then go back and kind of close it.
Look and cover?
Pretty much. And a lot of the time I'd talk about it with friends. Me and my friends were really into studying together and making sure we could, question each other what are the 9 skills of management? Quick, tell me. Getting your friends involved is just really helpful. But just memorization, sitting there looking at it, thinking about it in your head,
So mental exercises.
Mental exercises. That's you just really have to sit there and look at your paper and just memorize. Even though it's really hard, and writing down is just also really helpful. If you just write down different pieces of information.
So you get your notes and just sort of write key points, is that what you're doing?
So I'd read them and then I'd remember the key things and then write them down. So yeah.
Alright.
Taking your BEST test is a 3-step process that begins way before you take the test and extends even after you take the test. Before the test, you need to begin with a study plan. Most professors will have the dates of the tests already posted in the syllabus, so just look there and make a study plan leading up to the exam. Every day is important to be studying and reviewing, so it does not all come up at the last minute before the test. So prepare as early as possible and as frequently as possible. The more time invested in studying leading up to the exam will help you be more prepared. The format of the test will strongly inform study techniques for the test, and most professors will tell you this leading up to the test. When you go to take a test, don't talk to anyone before you begin the test. This will heighten anxiety and may cause you to second guess what you know. You can't learn any new information right before the test, so there is no use trying to cram one last minute. When you begin the test, answer all the easy questions first. This will give you more confidence in the material, as well as may inform questions you are unsure of. Lastly, take as much time as you're allotted for the test. This will ease anxiety of having to finish quickly or make you rush yourself and answering questions. Now that the test is done, don't discuss the test with other students. This can sometimes cause unneeded anxiety about the test. If you have any questions once you get the test back, be sure to meet with your professor so you don't make the same mistakes twice. Learn from how the test is formatted, where the information came from, how to study for it successfully, and how you answer questions to be more successful the next time around. Objective tests encompass multiple choice, matching questions, and true and false. This is a standard test format for a lot of professors because they can use Scantrons to grade in larger classes. Since these tests are basically recall questions, use study techniques that relate to this method, such as using flashcards or practice tests. You can prepare for these tests by studying facts and details by using flashcards, word lists, and mnemonic devices that are all ways to learn a mass amount of information and be able to recall it at a later time. Create your own practice tests from homework problems, problems in the book at the end of each chapter, old test problems, study guide problems, or any problems you can find on internet sources. Now that you are prepared for the test, complete a mind dump before you begin answering questions by writing down all of the information you studied that can help you remember answers. Then you can complete the easy questions first, like we discussed before in general test taking tips. You should also take the test in the same way you prepared, in recall form. You can cover the answers as you read the question to recall your answer so you don't get confused by the answers given. Lastly, always read all of the possibilities before jumping to an answer. This ensures that you have taken your time to think about it and can eliminate all of the answers. You may have a test that is just essays, or an essay be part of another formatted test. The best way to get better at writing is to practice writing. So practice writing is a large part of preparing for essay exams. Essays mostly cover major concepts with supporting themes, so be sure to study this type of information. This can help you organize ideas on what you could write about for different topics. Also, review the writing process to know how to go through the process of writing an essay in a short amount of time. This is very different than when you are assigned a paper and you can have time to think and plan. An essay on tests forces you to plan and make decisions on writing very quickly. When this happens, assign times to each question so you are sure you have enough time for each question. You can see how long it takes you to get through the writing process when you practice writing, so know this when you are taking the test. Once you have read the directions carefully, make a brief outline before you begin writing to act as a mind dump for all the information you will need to remember to include in your essay. Watch your grammar as you write because you may not have enough time to go back through and edit later. However, always leave time at the end to reread and edit minor things. Our last topic to discuss is overcoming test anxiety. A little bit of test anxiety is normal. However, when test anxiety is inhibiting your test performance, you will need to find some ways to overcome this challenge. There are a few ways to naturally ease test anxiety by altering just little things in your life. By being more prepared and confident in the material for the test can sometimes ease test anxiety. Being underprepared can definitely give us anxiety in doing anything, so be sure not to be underprepared for a big test. When you create practice tests for yourself to take before the real test, put yourself in a test situation. Get a study room to be alone from distractions, set up a timer, don't have any notes available, and try to take it at a similar time of the day. By doing this, hopefully you will create a testing situation while studying, which will in turn get out some of the anxiety before the real test. Another way to ease test anxiety is to study in a relaxed state. By doing this, you can remember more information you study and will put you in a more relaxed state when recalling this information. On the day of the test, allow yourself plenty of time to get there and set up your space for the test, and then allow yourself plenty of time while taking the test so you aren't rushed in making decisions on answers. Last but not least, don't go to the exam without sleep or food. Your physical state can affect your memory, anxiety levels, as well as performance, so remember to sleep the night before and eat before going to the test. These are easy techniques you can start implementing now in your life to help ease test anxiety. Now that we have covered how to take better tests, we want to make sure you are ready for your next round of tests. Be sure you know the grades you got on your tests and look at the syllabus to see how much each test is worth out of your full grade. This way you can calculate grades you will need to receive on your next test to get the final grades you want in that course. There may also be other percentages within the course that goes towards your final grade, such as assignments, homework, class participation, attendance, and other small things. With that, your test may not be the make or break grade within the class, so you don't need to stress so much over it. Grades can always be pulled up, and with the right attitude, study techniques, and test-taking skills, you can always take a better test. This concludes the Take Better Tests workshop. If you have any further questions about this workshop or the content, please come to or contact the Center for Student Learning at 843-953-5635. We are located on the first floor of the Addlestone Library off of Calhoun Street and are also mobile at csl.cofc.edu. Please take a look at our other videos available for other topics and online library of handouts as a resource. We hope to see you in the CSL soon.